I'm Venu Keller. Welcome to Venu Inspires. It's time to give your children a childhood they won't have to heal from. Good morning and welcome to Wednesday Wisdom with Venu Keller. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the labels that some of our children receive, whether it's depression, anxiety, social anxiety. It doesn't really matter. The truth is, we need to really figure out if our kids are not getting better through coaching and through therapy. Are they really not getting better because they're not taking action on what the therapist or the coach is saying? Are they not getting better because the strategies that are given just aren't working for them? I could tell you, as a coach of many kids, hundreds over the last 23 years, I can tell you that one size does not fit all. One strategy I give for one kid may not work for the other kid. So that is possible. I'm just curious though, is it possible that our kids are wanting to hang on to these identities? When you tell a child you have anxiety or you have depression, they don't realize it's like a jacket they're putting on, like a jacket of depression, a jacket of anxiety that they can take off. What they're realizing is that it's part of their identity, that they are that. They are the depression. They are the anxiety. And it creeps up whenever a social opportunity happens or whatever their triggers are. What I'm finding out more and more is that kids are not getting through this or making the progress that the parents want to see right away because they're comfortable with it. As much as they don't like to feel that fight or flight when they go into that sympathetic nervous system when something happens and triggers them, it also allows them to actually escape. So if they have that anxiety, it gives them an opportunity to just stop, feel what's going on in their body and feel like they have to escape. And it gives them a reason. They're able to go to the office or their parents are there to help them or friends there to help them. It gives them connection. It allows them to know that you're not alone and that someone cares. Versus when they're not having an episode, what happens? Do they feel like no one's there? Do they feel like they get less of the attention of other people? Do they feel like they don't have an opportunity to escape in that moment? What about depression? These kids that feel that they have to stay in bed or isolate themselves. Are they really depressed if they're isolating themselves, or are they doing things that are inward and they're taking time and they don't want the distractions? I have a lot of clients that, especially teenagers, they like to be in their own room. They love their room. It's their safe space. And at the same time, they're doing things. They're being creative. I have one that writes stories. I have several that makes bracelets. I have some that make videos. It's their time to be creative. And when I ask them, like, why are you in your room all the time? Is your parents kind of feel like you're isolating or whatnot. That's a typical response I get from parents. They say, I'm not isolating. I just don't want to be interrupted. Like, I just want to focus on what I'm doing and without all the interruptions and questions and reminding me to do this or remind me to do that. So they're not really depressed. But what about those kids that feel that there's this like black cloud that's constantly hanging over them and they don't want to get out of bed and they don't want to socialize? They're categorized sometimes as being depressed. However, what if they just feel like they're isolated from their social network? Like they don't feel there's people out there that really want to connect with them or do things with them. How do we help them? And if we do help them, do they take the help and they take action to do better because they want better? Or again, do they stay in that realm of what we call depression only because it gives them that connection? They have the parents checking in on them. They have people checking in on them. They have people that are like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? They have more people reaching out to them. Versus when they're feeling good and they're not feeling depressed and they feel happy. And then all of a sudden, no one's checking on them. No one's really caring about them. So kids start to believe that they get more of the outcome of feeling like they belong and people care about them when they're under that umbrella of that label. So if we are able to teach our kids different ways to feel included, different ways to not feel judged, where that anxiety comes in, like people are going to see them, judge them, not like them, isolate them. If we can give them ways that they can actually fit in and feel like they belong, and the friendships are reciprocated, it's not just one way, would they start to make more progress that parents can see? My answer through my experience of coaching is yes. And that's what we need to do. So in order to find out what is it your child really needs, instead of taking that moment to say, oh, I know what they need this, they need that, ask them. That's the first strategy I'm going to share with you guys. Ask your child, what is it that you need? What is it that you need to feel like you fit in or that you belong? What is it that you need to feel like you have a friend? What's happening at school that makes you feel like you don't fit in? Until we can get to the cause, we're always going to be dealing with the symptoms. And I'm okay about coping skills when we need, like if there's a panic attack and we need them to have that coping skill to, monitor their breathing, get their breathing calm, stop the crying, get them refocused, because that's what we need to do. We need to refocus them in order to deal with what the trigger was. If we always just give coping skills, then we're going to be keeping coping skills for everything in life, but we have to get to the cause. What is the real issue that's triggering the anxiety, the panic attacks, the feeling of depression? If we get to the cause, and the only way we're going to do that is by asking our kids what's going on with them, what they're feeling, and asking them when they say, it's good, what does good mean? Does good mean that they fit in today? Does good mean that they had someone to eat lunch with today? What does good mean to them? When we're able to get to the cause, and when they have those good days and we're able to dissect what good means, then we start to understand their success formula. When we understand their success formula, then we're able to resolve the triggers, the cause, and then there's no more symptoms. So that's my tip for today on our Wednesday Wisdom. Thank you for tuning in. I invite any comments or questions below, and I will see you next Wednesday.